are pissed by the black Americans in the United States of America. Many black Americans are now making videos claiming how Africa is unsafe. This is after an American woman was kidnapped in Tunisia. And you won't believe what this black American did. After she was rescued from the kidnappers, she went and made a video claiming how Africa is unsafe and how she managed to run away from the kidnappers. But something that is pissing the Africans is that she is saying Africa instead of even saying the country in which she was kidnapped in. So this is what happened. This black American woman visited Tunisia, and during her stay, she got out of her accommodation and went to the club where she went to enjoy herself. And during that time, she took a lot of alcohol. And when she was going back to her lodge, she just got a blackout, and when she woke up, she found herself kidnapped and in a back seat of a car with a strange man, and she fought her way and got out of it. But when she went back to the United States of America, instead of saying that she was kidnapped in Tunisia, she went on to TikTok and all social media platforms claiming that she was kidnapped in Africa. And many African nations are coming out and saying, you cannot claim that the continent is bad because you experienced a bad incident in one of the African nations. Africa must be respected. And many people are saying that it's not only Africa where kidnappers work. You can be kidnapped anywhere around the globe. This is why many Africans are...
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Burrs or Belly Dirt channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I'm gonna be your today's host, and I have so many stitches to put up here, and we're gonna come out to talk about it. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
I have seen at least 3 videos today of American women who were kidnapped in Morocco and Tunisia. These countries are in North Africa. Please always specify because they said Africa. Some of them have open wounds, and I don't think it's something new. All the videos I've seen are black women. So be very careful. Arabs can be very, very racist. Very careful. Some of you are talking to these men on TikTok live video. Before you know it, you are in their country, thinking you go and meet your sugar, whatever. Be careful. This is not a time to be trusting random people overseas. Be smart. I feel like it's something that has been happening for so many years. The shine is not always gold on the... How do we say it? The gold is not always shine on the other side. Is it gold? What gold cannot... What shines is not gold. What always... No, there's not... What shines is not always gold. How do we say that word? What shines is not gold. I forgot. What shines... How do we say that one? That is it proverb? How do we call it? What shines is not always gold. The gold is not always shine. Oh, I forgot it.
So Tunisia used to be a safe place to go to. Maybe about 8 years ago, my sister actually went and lived in Tunisia for a bit because she wanted to study the language. But fast forward, I think about maybe 3 years ago or something like that, there was a big shift in Tunisia, and they were kicking out every black person out of there. And I remember my sister was telling me that they had even kicked out some of her colleagues who worked in international organizations. They did not want them there. So all that to say, I'm replying and talking about this because I saw a video where the Africans were saying, well, what the fuck are you doing in Tunisia? Like, you should have never went there for the lady that got kidnapped. And I feel for her so much, but like, you have to do your research before you go somewhere. A lesson for everyone.
So did y'all see that black American woman that got kidnapped in Africa? She was fighting for her life. Do you know Africans are in the fucking comments saying, don't say you got kidnapped in Africa?
There's a method to the madness, yeah? There's a reason why thousands of Africans are saying the same thing. It's not because they don't care about what happened to her, yeah? It's because they are trying to tell you something. Now, that place is a no-go area for black Africans. Africans living on the continent itself. They don't go there. They don't even speak about them, bro. Like, there's a reason why when we are talking about Africa, nobody brings them up, yeah? Now, in 2023, I think, yeah, that was 2 years ago, the president of Tunisia came out to say, black Africans that go, they want to change the demographics of the country, inciting violence, and they were attacking black people like crazy, which made the president of Guinea, if I'm not mistaken, to take a plane and go and bring his people back. Yeah, so they are very anti-black. It's extremely anti-black. Yeah, and when you ask them what black people did to them, they can't tell you why. It's like, it's the most bizarre thing. They can't tell you why, what the black Africans did to them. Like, it's weird. Yeah, they, like, I'm talking to you right now, there's an active slave trade going on. Like, someone is being sold right now. Yeah, I've met so many people, so many Africans that go through North Africa into Europe, yeah, and not a single one of them has something positive to say. Not even one. Yeah, I met this girl that went through that area. You can imagine what happened to her. When I was speaking to her, there's no light in her eyes, but she's gone. She's destroyed. Yeah, just imagine what if the men are going through a lot. Just imagine what a young woman going through that region is going. So it's when Africans are screaming, listen to them. Yeah.
Hey y'all, we need to talk. The conversation we're about to have is super sensitive. This is to bring light and awareness to the situation that happened with the black American lady that got abducted in Tunisia. And we finna get deep. I am ethnically Malian, which is a country really not too far from Libya or Tunisia. 3 hours away, literally. It is so sad, but it's the truth. And I'm also gonna be super personal. My heart goes out to Mika, the lady from, I think, Maryland, who got kidnapped in Tunisia, which is an Arab country in North Africa. Arab country. And I don't really come on here, I guess, talk about stuff this really deep because it's just like, it's a lot, you know, people got their thoughts and opinions, but we know. We know. I feel like the only way y'all gonna really understand what I'm about to say, North Africa is basically the sundown town of Africa. Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, and Morocco. Stay away. Stay away. As a black person in general, I don't care where you're from, America, Caribbeans, wherever you are from, please do not go to North Africa. They do not like anything that looks like me because they don't look like us. Human trafficking, kidnapping, all of that, slavery is very normalized in North Africa. And that's not to generalize to say all North Africans are racist, but majority of them are. They do not like anything that looks like me. Don't do it, y'all. So a little bit of context. I am from Mali, which makes me ethnically Malian, which is right here. As you can see, Algeria, right here, Libya, and Tunisia, and Morocco. There is an open, active slave market in Libya as we speak, and has been around for a very long time. My cousin was one of them. He was captured and sold in Libya, owned by a whole nother family. My blood cousin was captured in Libya and sold as a slave. This happened 2 years ago. A slave, anymore. He was captured along with his other friends, and they are no longer here with us. God forbid what the Libyans have done with them. My cousin was the only one who had made it alive, and they shipped him on the boat to Italy. I had a cousin who made it out. And it's so sad that this is actually the norm in North Africa, especially in Tunisia and in Libya. Libya has an open slave market. They was not expecting her to make it through to be able to tell a story on TikTok. I can promise you that. And it's sad to say that this is so normalized. Like, I have an older sister who lives in Morocco, and she's been rejected by every single employer she's ever tried to work with. And their reasoning being, oh, we didn't know you were black. What? Mind you, Mali and Morocco is like right there. Maybe an hour. Mind you, Moroccans are still Africans. But, you know, let them tell it. They say they're not Africans because they're not black. Us West Africans, we know not to go to North Africa. As y'all can see, this is Libya. Next door is Algeria. Right below that is Mali, where I'm from. In Libya, there's an open slave market to this day. Slavery. Black Africans know not to cross the line and go to. And it's just so sad to see that this actually happened in 2025 in broad daylight over there. And the fact that she made it out, she fought. Like, when you see those bruises and the marks that she has all over her face. But again, like I said, this is like an awareness video to, we just gonna say, Black Americans, or if you just a black person from any part of the world, please do not visit North Africa. A lot of West, South, and even East Africans were having an uproar, like, say North Africa, because we don't really associate ourselves with them, to be honest, because they don't want to be called Africans because they don't look like us, because they like. And it's sad to say that this is such a common thing that happens in North Africa. So did y'all see that Black American woman that got kidnapped in Africa? She got kidnapped in Tunisia, to be specific. And do you know, everybody in the comments, first of all, her face is bruised up. Her eyes are black. She has vessels bust in her eyeballs. They're red. She has scratches because the guy was trying to, like, put his hand around her mouth to tell her to be quiet. He was boxing her out. Like, she was fighting for her life. Do you know Africans are in the fucking comments saying, don't say you got kidnapped in Africa? They got the fucking nerve to be more upset that she said Africa and didn't specify the country in her commentary. She put it in her caption, but because she didn't say the exact country, they got the nerve to be offended. Bitch! This shit is so disheartening because they keep trying to get us to go over there. Oh, go back to the motherland. It's not necessarily safe. I can't say every single country and every single part and every single country is dangerous, but it is not safe. She says she went to the club, had a good time, went back to the hotel, got her, went upstairs, put her bag down, put her phone down, was like, oh, I ran out of tissue, went back downstairs to the hotel clerk to get some tissue, and then she blacked out and woke up in the back of a truck, or back of a car. Managed to get out the car, was fighting with the guy who was trying to kidnap her and traffic her, because that's exactly what the fuck was about to happen. And she said she started running through a forest, running through the woods. Do you know she got back to the hotel and they told her she never came back to the hotel? They would not let her see the surveillance footage. They basically made it seem like she was delusional and crazy and delirious and was gaslighting her. Yet her phone and her bag that she took with her to the club where she recorded herself having a good time was in her room. How she never went back to her room if her bag and her phone is in her room? They're all in on it. The police lied to her. Everybody lied to her. They had people come and examine her that were fake and frauds, and this is all a fucking network of scamming and goddamn trafficking. Be careful. This got my blood like racing because I'm like, yo, like, people be asking me, oh, you don't travel. Why y'all don't? Americans don't travel. It's not safe. First of all, a lot of the times my father told me this when I went to Jamaica to fly out to meet my homegirl one time. He was like, you flying out there by yourself? I'm like, yeah. He said, you know they will steal your passport and kidnap you. My father told me that. He said, you could pass for a Jamaican girl. If I went to an African country, somebody out there could use my fucking passport and use my identification to get back in the States. That's the type of stuff that's going on around the globe. We got to travel in packs. She couldn't even go to the goddamn clerk downstairs to get tissue. She was under some type of influence of some type of substance. She doesn't even know what it was. And they was not trying to help her. They just basically told her that she never came back to the hotel and that she got snatched at the club. Yeah, her bag and all of her belongings that she had at the club was in her room. This really pissed me off. And the Africans are mad because she said that she got kidnapped in Africa. They are more mad at that than the fact that she got kidnapped. Y'all, stay woke, be careful, be safe, travel in packs and groups, especially if you're going abroad. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. And they think we gonna move and leave where the fuck we come from to go over there. Bitch. Bitch. So
Are they scared of us? The kids are running away.
It doesn't matter what you look like as an African, right? You can have light skin, you can have blue eyes, green eyes, hazel eyes, whatever features that people think are representing. One thing that we all have in common, from, like I said, the south, the west, the north, east, wherever, indigenous people all have that 4C hair, baby. And where is yours? So we saw what happened with the black lady that went to Tunisia, right? And a lot of Africans are trying to tell y'all there's 54 countries in Africa. Some of y'all not getting it. North Africa isn't, like me personally, I don't even really see North Africans as Africans because of this. Because of the way they treat other Africans, other West Africans, and other Africans that are, black. Y'all don't like black people. And they make the effort to separate themselves from other Africans. For example, I saw a video on here of a couple of North Africans going, are we African or are we Arabs? And they're laughing. And it's like, if you was my skin tone, you would not be saying that, because you're obviously African and obviously black. So y'all know the truth. They know the truth. Another video, I saw this Moroccan lady. She was like, what's the difference between African black soap and Moroccan blue or black soap or whatever that it is? And I'm like, what? Even in the sentence, did you catch that? Did you catch that? Isn't Morocco in Africa? What do you mean African versus Morocco? Why don't you just say West African black soap versus North African black soap? You know what I mean? So they always separate themselves from Africa while trying to claim Africa when it benefits them. We have to keep in mind that North Africans are descendants of colonizers, of Romans, of Greeks. That's why they look white presenting. I saw another video of a North African woman on here trying to claim that the reason why they look the way that they look is because their genes are indigenous to Africa somehow. Like she was saying that, oh, why do people say that all life comes from Africa, but then say that they look like Europeans and not that Europeans look like them. We have scientific articles, data that shows that North Africans have anywhere from 20 to 60%, even maybe even more European non-African DNA. And it's the way that they ignore this every time I bring it up and trying to claim that, oh, we was in the mountains, that's why the UV rays didn't get to us, and that's why we're like this. That's why we... Did y'all skip science in class, in school? That's why it's good to travel, because one thing I've learned about this world is we're all colonized, right? So it's good to travel, it's good to be open-minded, because if you live in one place your whole life and you just believe all the propaganda from that one place, that's all the perspective that you know. And we all know that a lot of white people love to lie to their kids and their descendants. We see what they're doing today, trying to remove slavery from. They're trying to hide everything that they've done. But the fact that they're actual North Africans, they look white presenting, trying to justify why they look, how they're indigenous to Africa, looking white presenting, is insane to me. That's indigenous erasure. Africa is a black continent. When people hear Africa, they think black. And I told that girl, I was like, if you went to a West African village or some kind of village in Africa, do you really think they're going to see you and go, oh, that's an African woman or that's a white woman? She's like, oh, that's because they know about Western concepts. And what? Okay, what if you go to a place that hasn't been westernized, or has not been westernized, has no contact with Western people, some incredibly indigenous village? You really think they're gonna see you and go, that's an African woman? They're gonna go, that's a white woman.
Finally, after a 6-day journey,
That's how most indigenous people usually react first when they see white people. Your genes, you can't, like, all your lies can't hide what's showing in your face, your skin tone, and all that stuff. Yes, the Western world weaponized it for, racism, but that doesn't mean it didn't exist. That doesn't mean melanin did not exist, and lack of melanin did not exist before that. So y'all stay calling other African slurs. Y'all actually have black African slaves in your country. And when I had brought it up to her, she ignored it. She didn't even want to respond. Like, you can't deny. I know that every white you've either participated, you have a family member that participated. You guys are racist. Your racist white presenting descendants that stay in Africa with barely any black in you, but still condoning, with actual slavery still going on your land, claiming you're Africans. And you want me, an actual West African, to see you and condone that? Y'all be talking about something, oh, we've been here for 5,000, 10,000 years. So I'm black, baby. My people have been on that land. We have proof from 800 AD. I don't care about your measly 10,000, whatever, 5,000. What? Oh, we suffered in the hands of white people. Who cares when you're doing the same thing to other black people? You're supposed to be Africans with. All 54 countries in Africa, and they're not all equal. Just saying. Just know that. And I just also want to say, you can get kidnapped anywhere in Africa, even here in the States. So that's something that happens worldwide. But since this topic is, it's up right now, and we're talking about North Africa and Tunisia, I decided to put in my 2 cents. That place is whitewashed. It's a colonized land. They colonized it a long time ago. The Romans, the Greeks, they came in and colonized it a long time ago. You know what happens when colonizers come to your land? They unalive the men, they rape the women, they take over, they put their faces on everything, they change the statues, they break it, destroy it, and replace it with themselves. So when a North African starts to show you a coin of a white man, a Roman man, trying to prove that they're indigenous to, they're Amazigh or indigenous to, there's a reason why.
This week, the internet has been flooded with disturbing videos of American women claiming they were kidnapped in North Africa's countries, mainly Morocco and Tunisia. Most of these women are black Americans, and their stories have sparked a heated online debate between Africans and African Americans. But one particular story has become the center of attention. A black American woman traveled to Tunisia, and according to her, she was kidnapped after a night out. She says she had gone to a club taking some drinks and at some point blackout. The next thing she remembers is waking up in the backseat of a car with a strange man. She says she fought her way out and managed to escape. That part of the story is strategic. No woman deserves to experience that kind of terror anywhere in the world. But what has infuriated Africans across the continent is what she said next. When she got back to the US, she didn't say she was kidnapped in Tunisia. She said she was kidnapped in Africa, and that single word Africa has opened up a storm of anger, debate, and deep resentment online. Africans are asking, why is it that when something bad happens in any country on this continent, it suddenly becomes Africa? Yet, when something good happens, people are quick to name the exact country. When someone visits Morocco for the beaches, they say Morocco. When they go to Egypt to see the pyramids, they say Egypt. But when tragedy strikes suddenly, the whole of Africa is guilty. This pattern has been going on for decades. Western media and some travelers treat Africa as a monolith block, one giant, indistinguishable place. No one says I was robbed in Europe. If something happens in Italy or France, no one says Asia is dangerous because of a single incident in Thailand. But Africa gets generalized again and again, and that is why what this current debate is really about, not just the kidnapping but the narrative. Because when you say Africa is unsafe, you erase 54 countries, 1.4 billion people, and thousands of different realities. You take the crimes of a few individuals and hang them around the neck of an entire continent that has been fighting stereotypes for centuries. And the worst part, this time is not even white journalists doing it, it's black Americans, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, the very people we expect to understand us, joining the same curious that has demonized Africa for generations. Many Africans are heartbroken, not just angry. They see black Americans as family because people whose ancestors were taken from this continent through slavery, people who share our blood and history. But instead of solidarity, what they often get is condescension. Africans are called scammers, dirty, or unsafe. Africans online are asking, how did the children of Africa learn to look down on the land of their ancestors? Now, let's be honest. North Africa is not without problems. Tunisia and Morocco, like many other countries in the region, have had long-standing issues of racism, especially against sub-Sahara Africans. Countless reports from black African students in Tunisia reveal discrimination, assault, and racial slurs. There is truth to that, and ignoring it would be dishonest. But there is a difference between acknowledging racism in Tunisia and saying Africa is unsafe. Tunisia is not Ghana. Morocco is not Nigeria. Egypt is not Kenya. You cannot take the sense of one nation and apply them to an entire continent. And that is the essence of the African outrage. Africans online are saying, hold the right people accountable. If the problem happened in Tunisia, then say Tunisia. Don't drag an entire continent into the mud because of one experience. Another thing that has been highlighted in this debate is the way some of these cases are unfolding on TikTok. Many of these women were apparently lured or groomed through social media. They meet North African men during live sessions, formed online relationships, and eventually decided to travel overseas, often believing they were visiting romantic partners or potential sugar daddies. But what they meet instead were dangerous situations. That is not an African issue, that is a human issue. The same kind of trafficking and manipulation happens in the United States. In Europe, in Latin America, there are American women who have been kidnapped within America by that men they meet online. Yet no one says America is unsafe for women. They say be careful who you trust. So why does the language change when it's Africa? Why do people suddenly generalize? That is the question at the heart of this discussion. And perhaps this is also a reflection of how Africa is still perceived, not as a collection of nations, but as one single mysterious dangerous place. That perception comes from decades of media conditioning. News outlets rarely show model African cities, innovation, or normal life. They show conflict, poverty, and chaos. So when an American hears Tunisia, they don't picture a North African Arab state with its own internal politics. They just hear Africa and all the old stereotypes rush back. This is why Africans are angry, because one careless statement can undo years of progress. Tourism, investment, and international relationship depend heavily on perception, and perception is shaped by language. When a viral TikTok with millions of views says, "I was kidnapped in Africa," it paints an entire continent with fear. And the truth is, not all Africans are defending Tunisia in this case. Some Africans are saying, yes, Tunisia has a racism problem and it must be called out, but they still insist on accuracy. Name the country, not the continent. Because when you say Africa, you blame nations that had nothing to do with it. Senegal, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, all of them suddenly become part of a crime that happened hundreds of miles away. Another layer of this story is how it exposes the lack of understanding between Africans and Black Americans. Both sides carry wounds, but instead of healing together, they keep reopening each other's scars. Black Americans often say they don't feel accepted by Africans, while Africans they say they feel judged and misunderstood by Black Americans. And now, incidents like this deepen the divide instead of empathy. There is no accusation instead of solidarity, there is blame. Africans online are saying we are not your enemy, we are your people, but stop insulting us in the process of telling your story. One African commentator said it best, you can talk about what happened to you, but talk with precious. Tunisia is not my village. That comment went viral because it summarizes how Africans feel. They are tired of carrying the world's misconception on their backs. It's also important to talk about safety with Tunisians. Yes, travelers must be cautioned anywhere they go, whether it's Paris, New York, Tunis. Danger can find you if you are not alert, but many of these recent cases reveal a lack of basic travel safety awareness. Traveling alone to meet a stranger in a foreign country, especially in regions with reported racial hostility, is risky. So the lesson should be careful, not avoid Africa. And we also have to address the part of her story that seems inconsistent. Some teenagers have questioned her version of events, claiming that her description doesn't match how kidnapping cases usually occur there. Some even suspect that she might have been scammed by someone she trusted, not kidnapped in the dramatic way she described. But regardless of the details, what is undeniable is that the story has reignited old wounds between Africans and the diaspora. It's a reminder that we still have a long way to go in learning how to talk about each other without reinforcing stereotypes. When Africans speak up about this, it's not to dismiss her trauma, it's to protect her dignity. Africans are saying, don't use our name to generalize your pain, because they know how damaging that label can be. Africa has worked hard to rebuild its image after centuries of being portrayed as backward and dangerous. And every careless headline, every viral TikTok that screams Africa is unsafe sets that work back by years. So while people sympathize with the wound, they also call for responsibility. They say tell your story truthfully but accurately, because accuracy is the difference between personal strategy and the continental deformation. At the same time, the issue of North Africa racism toward black people cannot be swept under the rug. It exists and is not new. Many sub-Saharan Africans studying or working in Tunisia and Morocco have documented cases of assault, harassment, and racial abuse. Even the African Union has raised concern in the past. So yes, Tunisia has a racism problem. But that is Tunisia's problem, not Africans' problem. And that is where nuisance comes in. Africans are not defending racism, they are defending context. If this incident sparks awareness and forces Tunisia to confront its racism, then good. But if it sparks another wave of ignorance that paints Africa as a dangerous jungle, then we have failed again as a global community. In the end, this story is about perception, identity, and accountability. Africans are demanding respect, not blind defense. They are saying you can tell your truth, but it tells with wisdom. Tell it without destroying the rest of us. And for everyone listening, whether African American, or anywhere in the diaspora, the message is the same. Verify it before you vilify. Because Africa is not a country, it's a continent of 54 nations, each with its own people, problems, and pride. So before you say Africa is unsafe, ask yourself, which Africa are you talking about?
And if you watched up to this extent, don't forget to please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, why not just share your thought? Subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.